Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris Man, and as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today, I'm going to do another short special video per request from one of my subscribers, and actually, it's a pretty good question. He states that he's new to getting started playing in the band, and after watching my channel, and I've played with everybody. The bands I've been in, we tour with name open major acts, and we open for those acts. So he said, is there anything that you can give me as far as tips, as far as things that we should do and things that we should stay away from? And actually, I put together a list of just 5 short things that I can think of. And the first one is, don't overdo it. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we overthink the audience. The audience just want to hear you play a song or your song like you did in the recording, as opposed to a 4-minute song in the studio. When you do it live, it's 20 minutes. It's just overkill. And that's why I think some people want to know what key signature you're in, because they want a solo, and we as musicians have to think of, or I think of it like this: I'm entertaining the average person, not one of my peers or another group, because the audience just want to hear the song close to what they hear on the radio and be happy. Instead of this extra added stuff, which you more or less showboating for either another band or your colleagues. And it's not about your colleagues, it's about the audience. The average person that works a hard 9 to 5, they want to come home and relax and enjoy a concert. That's who I'm appealing to, not another band or the band that comes before us or the band that's going to close the set. My focus is on the audience, and I don't overthink them because it's not complicated. Play it the way that you can play it, the best way you can, and call it a day. And here's another suggestion regarding that. Think about it in these terms. If you're going to do a song, make sure that the song you can do within the confines of what you have to work with as far as your band. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you a good example. Back in the 90s, we used to love playing Morris Day, Color of Success. And that song calls for a synthesized bass, not electric bass. There's a big difference in sound and tonality. And then 2 other synthesizers. And we had, within that band at the time, 2 keyboard players, and I played, a little keyboard too, so I doubled off on the synthesizer bass, while my bass player sang the lead part on that song. So we was able to pull it off, as opposed to it's a heavy synthesized song, and we don't have nothing but a piano, not synthesizer, but just a piano, So you want to keep that in mind too, as far as what you can actually pull off within the band that you're working with. That's important, because again, people just want to hear you play the recording close to the recording. Okay, number 2, don't play too loud. Now, unless unless you're in a rock band and you're playing for 13 to 25-year-olds, yeah, maybe you want to pump up the volume, but if you're playing an R&B band or a jazz band, you want to be mindful of your levels, because you don't want it so loud that people can't even think over the music or shouting in conversation, because when you're doing jazz, you're the backdrop. It's kind of like music in the backdrop where people get relaxed, have dinner, and talk and things of that nature. So you got to keep that in mind too. Now, if you're doing R&B, yeah, it's different dynamics, because they are actually watching and focusing. You're no longer the backdrop, you're the main attraction. But even still, again, unless you're in a rock band and you're playing for teenagers, you want to keep your volume at a reasonable, responsible level. Because ain't nothing like coming home with your ears ringing. That's not a good feeling. Number 3, and this is a myth, and people are arguing with me, to the end of time, that audience participation nonsense. Because here it is. The last time I seen Rick James in the Midwest before he passed away, God bless his soul, we miss him. Rick James was notorious for this. Just about every song, he got the mic, sing. And I'm like, no, I paid $60 to see you sing. I didn't come here to sing. I came here to enjoy the music and probably get up and dance, but not singing out of key to your hits. So that's another thing that you want to be kind of mindful of. Don't try to pull the audience into, every other song you sing it to participate, because they didn't come here to sing. They paid to see you sing. Every now and then it's not, it's okay. But me personally, I don't get them involved when it comes to singing, because the music will make them dance, and that's it. I don't want them up hollering and singing out of key and throwing us off because we can't hear because they sing. So You know, that's been a myth that people want to participate. They participate because you kind of force them. You know, you got up and started telling them to sing the chorus, or you know the lyrics to these songs, sing it. Don't do that, you know. But there's some people that would argue to me different. But trust me, the average person, this just the average person, they didn't come to the concert to sing. They came to hear you sing. So you sing and entertain them. Number 4, if you don't do anything else, be on time. You know, because there's nothing worse than, and it's this again, this just not pertaining to music, just in life in general. Be on time, be prompt, be trustworthy as far as they can rely on you to be on time. Because here is something interesting, and a lot of my band members didn't like it at all. We had a clause in our contract stating that we were not open for any acts that's been notoriously known for being late. You know, we just, regardless of how much money they offered us, we just refused to play with those bands or open up for those bands because here's a trade, I guess it's a secret, I guess. You go to the concert and these people are always like an hour or 2 hours late. And you say to yourself, why are they late? And they do it deliberately, supposedly to build up enthusiasm, when the only thing they're doing is pissing you off. Because I don't want to sit nowhere for 2 hours waiting for anybody. And then guess what? The first opening act is going to be the ones to catch the wrath, you know, of these people, because now they're angry instead of excited, you know. So be on time. Don't subscribe to that. You know, we're going to keep them waiting for an hour and a half to get them going and then go out there and perform. I don't believe in that. You know, I believe in promptness. That's what I was taught as a kid from my dad and my mom, to be responsible, be reliable, be on time. Number 5 and the last one. And a lot of people take this one for granted. Always thank your audience after you've been allowed to entertain them. You know, thank you goes a long way. That's just like, you know, growing up as a young man, I was taught by my dad to be a gentleman. When you see a lady coming to the door or coming into the room, you open up the door. And normally they thank you for being the gentleman that you are. But every now and then you open the door and a woman just walk in, don't say nothing. And I don't get mad, because I'm like, unfortunately, her parents didn't do their job, you know, because again, when anybody do anything for you, you thank them, you know, regardless of how big it is, how small it is. You know, that goes a long way, and it says a lot about your character. So I'm going to sign off, and in the future, I'm going to do some more series of these types of things that might help the young up-and-coming bands or artists, you know, because we walked in your shoes and we can determine or tell you what might be a good thing to engage in and what might be a good thing to engage in. So until next time, as always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Take care.